How's it going, everybody? It's your boy Crugg here, and to start off my YouTube channel, I decided to tell you guys about my first time ever smoking weed. Why is that? Well, because it was a pretty monumental moment in my life, and on top of it, it's a decent story. It's not one of my craziest stories by no means, but it is a historic moment in my life, and I'm going to basically just get into my first time smoking weed and how it came to be. Now, unlike most people who, start smoking weed, a lot of the time it's like they get introduced to it by their friends and they take a few hits off of a joint or a pipe or whatever, or maybe they find out that their parents smoke it and they sneak a little bit out of their drawer or whatever it may be. Me, though, it was completely different. Now, I grew up seeing people smoke pot, my fucking dad's friends and, all that shit. They smoked and shit, but I never really knew what it was until I got a little older. Now, when I first ever smoked marijuana, I was 12 years old, which is very bad. Now, if you are under the age of 18, I don't encourage any smoking or drinking, obviously. I think 21 is a bit of a dumb age to make. I think 18 is the right one. But regardless, I do not encourage any underage smoking or drinking by any means, but regardless. So how I got about smoking weed. So I was living with my great-grandmother at the time. Now this was a very, very small town. This town had maybe 100 people on a good day. If some people were passing through, the population might have been 100 people that day. But anyways, so I was just, chilling at my grandma's, and my grandma's house didn't really have shit to do. It was an old house. I had my PlayStation 3 and stuff. But it was like, it was just like nothing to do. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go for a walk at the trail because we had a trail that was literally 200 feet away from where we lived. Like this big ass trail. It was a part of the Erie Canal. So I would walk down there. And I probably walked about half to a full mile down that trail when I seen a little clearing off to the left side. And I was like, what the fuck's that, I've never seen this before. But then again, I hadn't been down there in like a year at this end of the fucking trail because I didn't really walk down it. Well, not a year. So I didn't go down there. Yeah, so it was about summertime. And the last time I had walked down there was probably, close to last summer, maybe that fall. So yeah, it was about a year. I would say 8 to 10 months, maybe a year, since I fucking last actually walked down this end of the trail. Anyways, I digress. There was that little clearing where it looked like somebody had walked through before. So I was like, you know what, let me see what's down there. I wasn't worried about it because I didn't figure anybody would be doing anything down there. I figured, there wasn't, I'm in New York. It's not like there's going to be a bear or something. At the most, we might have like a rabid raccoon with rabies or some shit, but I'm not too worried about it. Anyways, so I go down the little clearing, and it's about 125 feet, and I find a bunch of these pot plants. There's probably about 6 of them. They're all probably like 4 or 5 feet tall. Bunch of nugs on them, and I'm like, oh shit. And I realized what I stumbled on. And I wasn't like panicking about it, saying, "Oh my god, what do I do?" Like I was like, you know what? Now whoever planted this here either forgot about it or they're regularly coming here and they haven't actually like took any of the buds out yet. So what I realized was, you know what? I could just take a few of them and figure out how to do this. Because you got to keep in mind, I was 12. I knew people had pipes and stuff. I've seen people hit joints, all that, and I didn't see a bong at that point really. Outside of like GTA 5 and stuff. But I was like, okay, let me try and figure this stuff out, right? So I literally just took a handful of nugs off these weed plants. Not a lot. I'd probably say I took like a quarter ounce, so about 7, maybe 8 grams, right? So I walk back to my house, or my grandma's house. She went out to the grocery store. So I was home alone with 7 grams of weed, and I'm like, okay, I have a bit more free reign to do whatever now. And this stuff was stinking up the house. This was an old house. It was dusty as shit to begin with. But oh my god, the smell, it must have been some fucking good. I don't remember much of it because, like, I didn't smoke it all. I don't remember what I did with all of it, but I probably smoked like half of it. But anyways, I digress. So I go into my room, I took the weed and I put it in a Ziploc bag just to store it, that way I could hide it. I think I probably left it under my pillow and forgot about it. But anyways, so I have this weed and I'm like, well, what do I do with this? So I go on my phone and I literally Google how to do weed. Because I just didn't know. And I seen it saying like, bong, well, can't do that. Vape. How do I vape bud? I didn't realize they were talking about carts and shit. So I was like, okay, well, that's not gonna work. Blunt, don't have that. A joint, huh? And I realized, well, my great grandma, she used to be a smoker back in the day. Not marijuana, cigarettes, but to save money, she would roll her own cigarettes. And I figured, well, maybe she had some antique rolling papers lying around. So I go to her room, right? And because, she didn't really actually use her bedroom because she just didn't like it because it didn't have any windows in it. So, and I know that's weird as fuck, but this was an old house built in like the 20s, keep in mind, and it was a tiny one. So she would use her bedroom as like a storage room and then just sleep in the living room on the couch or the recliner, whatever she felt like, right? So, I go in there, I'm going through these boxes, I find like booze and stuff, but I had no interest in that really. I drank before this point, but I didn't really have any interest at this point because I was so dead set on trying to smoke this weed. So I fucking, I fucking start looking around, and then boom, I find these antique cigarette papers. They're basically like, you guys know what a cigarette looks like now. Imagine what a cigarette looks like, the paper and the filter and everything, but without the tobacco in it. That's basically what this was. So I was like, boom, jackpot. So I took the weed, and I was like, well, how is this? I literally took the nug, and I put it against the fucking paper, and I was like, well, how's this going to work? So I decided, wait a minute, I probably just got to break it apart and then put it in the paper. I was like a caveman discovering fire for the first time. But anyways, I digress. I cut the fucking nug with some fucking scissors I had in my room onto this fucking dinner plate. And then I slowly fill the fucking joint. I try and like pack a lot of it in there because I didn't know how much I needed. I didn't know how, I didn't know nothing really at this point about weed. Keep in mind, I was like 11, maybe, I was probably like 12 years old, maybe 11 years old, smoking fucking weed. So I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Anyways, I digress. So I eventually I got it packed. Now I'm like, okay, how do I light this? Oh, my grandma has a barbecue lighter in the kitchen. I'll just take that, and I'll go into the cellar. Because we had a cellar that went underneath our house. Horrible fucking idea to smoke down there, because I didn't realize that the ventilation ran through down there. So, basically, the smoke was going to just scent out the entire fucking apartment. So I was fucked. I didn't know I didn't think about that. So I'm smoking this weed. I'm coughing up a fucking lung, because I knew enough to inhale into the lungs directly. I knew enough to do that, right? But everything else was basically foreign to me. But I smoked this weed. After 10 minutes, I hear my grandma start fucking pulling back out front. So I was like, oh shit, I got to get back into the house, right? Now, keep in mind, we had a back door to the house that was near the cellar door. But that door fucking, basically, so my bedroom had a back door, and it was connected to, not connected, but it was near the cellar door outside. So I just went through the cellar door, went back into the house through the back door. I started spraying my room, hid the weed, and I just chilled there. And she called me out to put away groceries. I put away groceries, and I guess she didn't notice anything, because I guess when you get older and you just your nose just doesn't work as well or whatever. But yeah, basically I didn't get caught. She didn't suspect a thing. She just said, oh, why do you look so tired? I said, oh, I didn't sleep well last night. I was tossing and turning a lot, had some bad dreams. And that was basically that. Anyways, that is going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to try doing a double upload later tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, so stick around for that. Subscribe and turn on post notifications. And anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video.